Good morning, my friends. It's Mimi. I am Liebert on Instagram, and I'm here today to record the 70th episode of Yarnchix Podcast, including a little giveaway plus the prize draw for Linu Muka 2025. I've loved every single project. This year I had decided to call it colourful, like to ask us all to commit to some colours, to use our favourite colour pops or colour combinations, and just to kind of be a little bit more bright and just find out and explore colours. And I absolutely love the whole hashtag. I will film a little scroll so that you see who like all the different posts. And in Linu Muka we're like a process knit along, so we knit along for the fun, we talk to each other, we find out about what ideas we have and share about the process. And it's not about progress, so we don't have a deadline that we have to finish by. It's very open-ended. So even if some of these posts are like ideas, or these are the colors I chose, or here is my project for this year, you know, even those posts will qualify to win the overall prize. I have gathered some favorite bright colors and their pastel friends. I'm kind of into this color vibe, so the winner will receive this rainbow of Linu Muka colors. With 5 you can make a t-shirt in stripes, so I thought that would be fun, or it might just be like inspiring colors for your collection. You'll receive a sticker and a rainbow sheep from One Berlin, and the linen flower sticker. This is what the linen fields look like when they're like in bloom. And and everything will come in a tote just like this, the Summer Knitting Club tote. And I will draw the winner in a minute, but first of all, I wanted to say thank you for playing along, for joining in this year. And we're all such a interesting mix of people from all walks of life. Lots of people from Berlin, so I'm really happy that our kind of local community is picking out their needles and joining in the conversation. So thank you so much, whether you were near or far, for taking part. And yeah, we are the kind of rainbow crowd, so we're very welcoming and open, and I hope that you've had fun this year. So I'm going to use random numbers on my iPad to decide which one of the posts is the winner. Here comes the scroll and the random number draw. Okay, what a lovely scroll. And notice the high-tech solution here. We're all in. So I've counted there is 135 posts, but I've deducted all the Wallen posts because we're obviously not participating in our own prize draw. So like counting from the bottom of the scroll, it'll be number 1, 2, 3 and so on, and I'll always omit, this is how I would count out the scroll. Sadly, it's archived not in a chronological order anymore. It used to be like that on Instagram when I started. Sorry for my gesturing while gesturing. I'm a bit like, when I started hosting Instagram craft-alongs, it used to be very easygoing because I had a chronological order of the posts, but we'll just give all these posts a number. I'm gonna do the random org now and show you on my little iPad. Like I said, highly technical. Here, random.org is like a random number generator. So there's 118 participating posts. I'm so proud of you guys. You're so busy. And I love that we're all Linu Muka knitting. God, now I get all giddy. But yeah, I'll do this here and film it. And then I'm going to count and like stop the camera, count out which number the post is, like according to my concept of counting from the bottom of the scroll towards the top. Like the last post will be 118, the first post will be number 1, and then yeah, share the winner. Let's go. So this is where we put in 118, 118. Get the screen. And we press generate. Okay, that is post number 4. That was easy because it was actually a small number, so I could just go 1, 2, 3, 4. I am so happy for you. So Andrea won it. It's the Instagram account is called Anjulial. So Anjulial. I will repost their post this weekend. Give you a bit of time to find the podcast, and then it's local to me, Berlin friends. So maybe they will come and pick up their present. Congratulations, Andrea. I'm super happy for you. And as you have contributed quite a lot during this year's Linu Muka knit along, I think it's only fair you win. You have done, I think you have made 1, 2, and started the third project, which I really love. The third project is this one. It's the Ship Shape Sweater. It's a new cast on by Andrea, and I really like it, and I'm really happy you are the receiving winner of our colourful bag of goodies. Congratulations, Andrea. And I'm creating a similarly filled but more Yarnchix goods based bag, filled like this for a giveaway, as I want to celebrate 70 episodes of full-on podcasting. I have a lot of vlogs and smaller videos, like I don't know, whatever. Like there's a lot of vlogmas basically, but the main bulk of the work and the archive of like all my makes of the past, let's say 9, maybe 8 to 9 years, will be shown in these podcasts where I talk about my creations. So I'm really happy to celebrate, and I thought you could join in the celebrations by writing down your favorite project that you have made in the past 5 years. Let's just like go back and think about our vintage makes and celebrate them. I would be really happy if you just comment below. All comments will qualify for all comments in the comments thread below this Yarnchix Podcast episode 70 will be qualifying for a prize draw of this giveaway, and I will draw it next time when I have finally, hopefully, printed and stapled my newest zine. I'm working, crinkle, on this. It's Bloomazine, and it's a self-published magazine about knitting and all that it entails. Basically the political side of it too, because we're a community of crafters and there's always connections and important topics that we raise through making with our own hands and thinking about sustainability. Like, for example, all the people choosing to work with Linu Muka, either consciously or unconsciously, are choosing a material that's really earth friendly. It's not traveled far. The Linu Muka as it arrives like this in our shop. Well, the Linu Muka as is, it doesn't use, it's a summer yarn, it's vegan, and it doesn't use, like linen plants don't use as much water in their growth. They're pretty, they kind of very resistant, if you say, resilient plants. And and in the production they haven't traveled far. It comes from Lithuania to our shop, and it's kind of as natural as it is. I think there is nothing better than knowing it was grown, spun, dyed all in one area and then travels to us in Berlin, from where it then starts traveling into world, in comparison to like cotton yarns that will grow in certain climates further afield, often get transported by plane or boats to a place where it gets washed, transported to a place where it gets spun. And in all those processes, cotton just eats away at like an important resource of this planet, water, and also oil, because obviously all the ships need to be and planes need to be fueled, so it has a much higher imprint on the planet to use cotton yarns in comparison to using linen. This is 100% linen, so it's not even like a mix of fabrics. You will always have this shiny, silky result, and I think our colors are pretty good. They're acid dyes, so some of the colors are really strong and will bleed out, but whatever leaves your project won't be touching your skin. So I think that's what we notice, especially with black Linu Muka, it will bleed. Oh, sorry, I'm like an extreme fan of this yarn, so I could talk about it forever, but let's talk about it in the form of projects. Here are my finished projects. Okay. My favorite one to date, forever, are my disco pants. Oh my god, they're so blue. They're really hard to film. And I have some footage and photos. I dropped the stitches on the side. Woo! And adjusted the length, so I cast off and kept the end yarn attached, then wore it for a week and realized, okay, it is growing. So I worked backwards, like undid about this much on one leg and that much on the other, because the length was different. I wonder if it's also because my hip is, slightly askew. All bodies are different. And and ended up like readjusting the length. Now, let me show you. I still have one leg a bit longer than the other, but I think that is how I need to wear them. And they're like the perfect length, so they stop above my trainers. I don't get them stuck on my trainer, on my shoelaces or anything. I don't walk into them and tumble and fall because they're too long. And I personally decided to only drop like 3 columns on both sides, because I like that old school sports company style, and I didn't want to have like an overall see-through kind of more festival pant, which I could always have because I have cast on those stitches that can be dropped in the future. So that is a hack for the disco trousers, designed by Katarina, who is Le Pull. I must admit I knitted the smallest size, so small medium, although I see myself more as a large body. Like, my usual garment size is large, and I often for trousers grab the extra large because I've got a nice pair of peaches. My bum is kind of like makes extra large a better size if I knit. When knitting legwear, you have to kind of adjust, you know, you have to look at your body and all the shapes and forms. And so I was surprised that I worked out from my swatch and calculating how many stitches I will have that even with my idea of not dropping all the stitches, the small size will be actually how I want the fit to be. Anyway, the joy of Mash and Pulver, gauge swatching, I had decided this is what I will knit. I love it. It's the right size for how I want it to be. I think the designer does not test knit. I think the designer is open about that and says it in the patterns, but I think size inclusivity involves being a little bit more reflective. I also have seen that there's hardly any reaction to my posts, whereas lots of people who are reposting who are a different size to my size, there is kind of more of a connection. Could be down to them having like personal connections, but it could be down to the designer's preference of like body size. That is all to say, it's a bit of a, I can recommend if you want the pattern, but I'm sure there is other like wear designers who are more size inclusive. Hence, I'm going to show you a second pair of leg wear. People, returning viewers, might recognize this. This is the Flutter Butt shorts. And it is shorts by Jessie Maid Design, a super size inclusive, beautiful person from the US. And I definitely see that the sizing worked much better. I had adjusted something in here. Basically, I undid all of the ruffles because this was a finished object I think 2 years ago, and I ended up not really wearing it because actually this started to drape down a bit like a nappy. So what in German we would call Steg, which is like the bridge. Let me pick it up in this kind of really weird way. So the bridge between the legs was way too like weighted from the frill in 3 strands of linen. I didn't say. The disco pants were also 3 strands of Linu Muka in royal blue. These are 3 strands of Linu Muka in beetroot. So when I re-knitted this frill over like a weekend and a bit, so it wasn't a long fix. I don't know why I hadn't picked up my knitting needles earlier to do it, but finally did it. So a mend that I'm really proud of. Basically what I did this time with this bridge between the legs, I didn't do double the stitches for the frill as you do for the whole round around the leg to receive this really frilly fabric. I only like knitted all stitches in this middle bit and then increased on the edges. Hence, I have these frills on the side, but I haven't got extra fabric that then starts drooping and looking a little bit like a nappy. It looked a bit funny, but yeah, I'm so happy I fixed these and they're a great pair. I have let me show you the t-shirt. So this is the Flutter Butt Tee, and the color is not, that's maybe more realistic. So Flutter Butt Tee and Flutter Butt shorts. Perfect set. I have a picture of me at the Bauwagen, which I will try and put in here so you see them worn. But I kind of love how the colors crush. This is dusty rose and beetroot, and I made a set, which is 2025, I think, is the year of knitted sets or sets. I think go for it. Like, sets are brilliant. I absolutely love this set. It's my kind of summer, when it's really hot, PJs, a winner. Okay, so that was a fixed pair of legwear of designed by Jessie May, or Jessie Made, and I can highly recommend. Everything always spot on, not only size inclusive. The pricing of the patterns is like a pre-Libra system, so you choose what you can afford, and you can bring down the patterns to like $7 instead of 14, 15, I think, which they're set at by using like a special code, so you don't always have to pay the highest price. I do that because I feel, even though I work in this field and I like, you know, present these patterns here professionally, I have quite a kind of medium range income, so it would be like fair to say that I can't afford paying €50 for a pattern, but to just spend €5 would be too low, so I go kind of mid-range of the price, and I think that is how I feel this system set up, so you can kind of honest about how many children you feed, how your income relates to your expenses, and also consider the artist's work, because these cool patterns are all tested. So the third project that I wanted to show you as a finished object in the finished object field is this Parachutey, another design by Stephen West. You would have seen Parachuteys in the past, and this is actually also a part of my Magic 3 Mile craft along. The second craft along I host throughout summer for children's things, and I'm making like a kind of medium-sized set with shorts, this, and a new pig from Cynthia. So I have like a little drawing where I create a set of 3 items, top, bottom, and a toy, and kind of connect them as a set to show you later on. There's more work in progress from Magic 3 Mile, but this was cast on in Linu Muka 2022 and finally cast off. I had a hard time choosing the back, but I decided to just go super finely striped, so it's like a garter stitch pattern by Stephen West. I'm holding Linu Muka double in this case and using 2.5mm needles, so much tighter than the pattern, because I want it to be quite solid at first as garter grows, and Linu Muka has its own weight, so it kind of grows potentially larger through bigger holes. If I was to use a 3mm, it would have really stretched and gone quite loosey-goosey, but I kind of like the tight gauge of this, which made it quite a lot of work, but I managed. So a lot of commuting meant I could stripe this back. Yeah, maybe I changed to looser needles here. Maybe you can see how it stretches. I think for a couple of rows I was using a 3.5 by mistake, but only you know now. And then, yeah, you kind of connect the side and the back panel and the front in this clever way. It was super fun. And then I cut cast off in brimstone, light turquoise, and granny apple. So I chose this kind of different I-code colors for different parts of the pattern where it tons. It's a really wearable finished object. I can't believe I've been like whip finishing. I've been really good about my whips and linomukakal. I didn't yet finish anything I cast on this year. But as we're moving over from finished objects to works in progress, I can show you my latest cast on. After linomukakal is, let's continue the linomukakal phase of life. So I have cast on, and look, this is what happens in project bags. Linen is quite tangly, I must admit. So I especially cut the ends short so that this kind of stuff then at least doesn't get tangled with the end. And obviously I've started a new row. What have I done? Let me just put whatever I've done back on the other needle. It's a really tiny little cast on. I don't know, you won't be able to see, but it's the same as this. This is the riblet raglan, a design by James and Watts, friends with Jessie May, super cool American designer, size inclusive, has adjusted the pattern since I test knit in 2022. So I test knitted this and it was with no neckline shaping, so no short rows. As you can tell now, I'm knitting on short rows of the cast on. But what's really special about my project is I'm using this 100%, oh god, it's blowing out, 100% silk lace, dyed by Kitsgan, Nora, and one strand Linu Muka in the color Cherry Blossom, and this is Baby Girly. They are so good together. And it's gonna be much more loosey-goosey than this. I want to have it as a raglan sweater, so long sleeves, so I can wear it over dresses as like a dress layer, or even under dresses as like a sleeve layer. So I'm gonna keep it as cropped as this one. Let me show you. So, you know, kind of cropped, but with the long sleeve, because I like that James provides this kind of long sleeve option. I like the whole pattern. I remember raglan knitting, you know, remember the thing about just going round and round? I miss it. So time for that. And yeah, cast on about a week ago and then got into this kind of finishing mode of my other projects that I will show you now. This is knitting like a 2XL so that it fits me, because I think it's going to be a little bit smaller than intended in the pattern. I knit an XL in this test knit for James, and it turned out like a medium. So I'm trying to do 2XL, slightly lighter gauge than this, for it to turn out like a large. This is me kind of fudging it. I'm using 3.0 millimeter needles. This I knit on also on 3 millimeter needles, but obviously 2 strands of Linu Muka compared to Linu Muka and silk, which is much finer. There is another Linu Muka project for the works in progress, but after that I'm gonna leave you alone with Linu Muka. This, I'm gonna keep it this way around actually. It's work in progress because I have to weave in the ends. Otherwise it's actually finished. A cast from last summer. This is the Yamagara is the designer, and the top is Luminos Tee. So you use these kind of fun hand-dyed yarns and combine them with a contrast color. I used Kitsgan in the Zimt and Zitrone colorway of Linu Muka, because my friend Nora dyes like our linen. So there's this Kitsgan Linu Muka collab, and I bought this during the Wedding Woo weekend last summer. And yeah, last night I cast off. So now I'm going to turn it. So all the ends need weaving in. That's why this is an FO. It's got a V-neck. And yeah, these stripes, very 80s. I'm going to wear it with a red skirt, and you know, the outfit is already up in my mind. It's going to be very 80s or 70s even, because of these color combinations that are chocolate So Linu Muka in the colorway chocolate is the contrast color. Then we have Zimt and Zitrone, Linu Muka by Kiezgarn. And I'm holding it together with green cardamom to make the kind of neon pop. So it's a little bit greenish beige. And that's that. A stack of linen projects that I finished. If you watch the podcast episode 69, you will see the lovely Through the Light scarf that I finished, and that's a finished object then. So that is the stack of my finished objects for this year as filmed by the lake. And last but not least, I wanted to show you some of my finished items for the Magic 3 Mile. I'm knitting baby knits and it's so much fun. I made a little popcorn vest, which I absolutely adore. It's stash yarn, so I'm super happy to finally have used some of these from stash. And I kind of love the little purpley mold popcorn vest. It's designed by Misha and Puff. And I used Jameson's and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. And I held it with an alpaca fluff by Kiezgarn in the cotty colorway, yeah. In this kind of nice purpley blue, like the tiles at Cotty Station. And I wanted to pair it with this Ankers Bonnet, but it turned out a little bit big. Again, Kiezgarn sock yarn held with an alpaca fluff. Then I just decided, okay, I'll make it a little bit smaller. I made the same hat, the Ankers Bonnet, in just the Kiezgarn sock yarn. And I have another project on the needle, which is a third hat that will be the size in between. So I have a set of 3 of hats, and I have this. And I've started the bottoms, which I can't find this morning. But as I've shown you so many projects, I thought I might as well. I've waffled on for like half an hour now, so I guess that's it. And I will just show you the set and the drawing of the set next time in episode 71. But these are all works in progress. I still have to weave in kind of the ends. That's it. This is a work in progress only because it needs its bottom to be added. And the toys, I'm working on a little goose. I'm working on a little rabbit. And I'm working on another little thing. So I'm working on lots of toys parallel. Actually, I've been working on lots of projects that I've never really shared and showed, just because I'm working on them in my kind of downtime, sofa sitting. Yeah, I'm excited to share the last thing of today before going into the Tarot Knit Oracle and the knit reportage, which I always share at the end. This time the knit reportage is another finished object, but it's mainly because I wanted to show off a project that I've knitted on for a while from my Stash Went calendar that I received this year, and some other presents of yarns that were given to me as part of Stash Went. Stash Went is our annual swap. So in September, which is next month, I'm going to open up the sign up for Stash Went 2025. We swap calendars, countdown calendars, that we create from our own stash for someone else. We call it countdown calendar because there's so many celebrations to be had in December, and they all have different dates, different starting and ending dates. We're really open. Maybe we are like a bit of a specific crowd because we love celebrating stash and using every end bits, and we like colorful makes. But otherwise, you're welcome to join at any point if you are into looking after your stash, and if you have like lots of end bits that you know you can split up and share. You don't have to own mountains of yarn because it's about sharing like the good stuff. Like, for example, from these projects, I will have a small leftover so I can create a mini skein for someone. It's basically in reaction to all the indie dyer countdown calendars that some people just can't afford, and also in reaction to having so much stuff at home already. Like, I have a stack of stash right there, like lots of boxes, and I don't use it all myself, and I want to share it with people. So this year I made a fest vest and I gifted it to a friend, so I don't have it here to show as an FO, so I'm making it the knit reportage as part of this kind of fading out after the Tarot Knit Oracle. And you can just see what I've made from my stash wend. That is this fest vest. There's a colourful. I used a colour code as directed by my friend Anda. And so you can find out all about it in the last podcast, and you can see the result at the end of this. My swatch is quite a long filigrane little swatch, and actually the first thing I cast on is the resulting winner. It's Lanu yarn in their aquarelle colorways, and I want to make the deep V. It's a slip over or like a little vest top by Rosa Pomar, a design that has a really deep V shape. So I think I have enough of this Lanu, and I'm holding it with a mitnadsole that I held with this Keatsgan. It's kind of like a peachy light color, and then this, I always think Soledad is the colorway of this Lanu. It's hard to see, but in the skeins I think it looks a bit like a sunset, so I think the combination is actually really nice. I usually tend to use darker silk mohairs with like woolly base yarns to create like this effect, but I didn't like any of these. Well, you know, have a go at me if you think the others are nicer, but like, I'm happy, comments are open. But I really just decided I want to have this kind of light pink, almost like the color of my skin, and then I can wear like colorful bright t-shirts or shirts and wear this V over it, and it'll be this illusion. I don't know. I just like it, and I'm excited to cast that on soon. The weather is rainy, and you know, why not knit some wool? Thank you so much for sitting with me today for my podcast episode number 70. And I feel very celebratory. I want to celebrate basically with you. So I want to give someone a Yarnchix goodies bag, my summer knitting club tote bag filled with some treats from my shop and from me. I will send that out and we'll decide the winner for that in the next podcast, because by then I should have my zine so it can go in the goodies bag. And yeah, feel free to join that. And yeah, thank you for being here with me. If you have been for 70 episodes, thank you. This chat monster is, yeah, above the cloud in gratitude that you joined. And yeah, stay tuned. I have some exciting things coming in episode 71. For now, the Tarot Knit Oracle, it's 2 questions. So I will pull 2 cards and just share like a visual result of it. The written up text always comes to my Patreon page. So if you're interested in tarot and the Tarot Knit Oracle, you can always follow me via patreon.com/ Yarnchix, where I will have a written review of the tarot card like in more detail. The one question, the first card will be, will I stay a monogamous knitter this year? It's a question by someone else because I'm like, when it comes to whips, I'm casting on all the time. So I'm kind of very polyamorous when it comes to knit projects. But this person wants to keep on staying monogamous. So we're going to ask the Tarot Knit Oracle for them if they will in 2025. And the second question is, how can we achieve peace within ourselves and the world? So that's a big question. We all want peace, and we all want peace for everyone, because never again is for everyone. So we want that peace, but how do we achieve it? So will the card offer us kind of like a behavioral suggestions? Just suggestion or suggestions? That would be good. Like, give us some tips, Tarot Oracle. And then we'll fade out with a knit reportage of a really cool, color, fun fest vest designed by Amber O'Brien. Thank you so much for watching today and for staying till the end. Much love, and bye-bye from Berlin.
bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here.
So, tomorrow I'm gonna record a full-on podcast, so this will be added in because it's Sunday and I'm about to gift this finished object. I completed it this weekend and I thought I'd quickly show you also some footage from when I first finished it, and then some footage here. Hang on. So this is a fest vest. I knitted it during the fest Kyle that was hosted by Zabila, and we had so much fun. Originally my own fest vest in my size is in red and all these kind of colourful scraps that Fancy sent me, and that I knitted during Stash Vent 2023, and this is Stash Vent 2024, as well as some leftovers from work, like this neon de lana rustica, and the main color and eye code is a color called Dill, and it was a gift from a dear friend of mine, and I originally intended to knit it for them, but now I've changed the sizing and I've knitted it for a friend who I think will appreciate it. I think also knitted along on the fest Kai. So I'm very happy that I finally finished it. I love the colors. I especially love and wanted to show you this shoulder. How, I don't know, these meeting makes these kind of whoop whoop whoop, these little pearls, and it's in a yarn that Sara gifted me, so it's kind of fun to give it back. And I like this purple. This is Coburger Fuchs, a really nice yarn that I got from Eula, hey mama wife, who I will meet as well. So this was me reporting a little bit about the finished object Fest Vest, as knitted in the Fest Vest Kyle and layered with my just finished Parachutey. I mean, why not? All the knitting.
From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We're meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Action!
Sometimes you need to go, take a step back, see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell